Hi, friends. I've been receiving a number of questions from folks about how to get started playing the tin whistle. That is so exciting. More folks want to join us on the journey. And so I'm making a whole new series about that. And the very first question to consider, and the one that many people come out of the gate and ask first, is what key do I get? And what does that mean? And so if you're an experienced whistle player, please stay with the conversation, because I and our friends who are just on the edge of getting started playing the tin whistle want to hear from you. They would love for you to add your thoughts in the comments to this video as to what key should be your first whistle. You can add thoughts about what key your next whistle should be as well, but really, what key should you come out of the gate with when buying a tin whistle? My answer, and I'll say it right out of the gate, is that you should get a whistle in the key of D. I say this along with Sean Cunningham, whose YouTube channel name is Whistle Tutor. He focuses on teaching traditional Irish tunes, and he does some great reviews and skill introductions as well. But he recently said, if you're going to get a tin whistle, get a D. And so he's answering our friends as well as are others. But I wanted to chime in with my voice, and I want you to be able to chime in with yours. Yes, there are other beautiful keys that you're going to end up wanting with the tin whistle, but your first key for a tin whistle should be the key of D. The low whistle, there's a low and a high D whistle. They play the same notes, but one's lower in tone and the other's higher in tone. And this is my Howard Low D, the very first whistle I bought. After doing a lot of research, that's another conversation. This is my Wild Irish High D, the very first high D I bought, and that's another conversation. We are going to talk in another video about buying your first whistle so that you don't break the bank and still getting good tone and the things you need to consider about that. But one thing at a time, right? What key? I say the key of D. One of the reasons the key is so important is that, first, many instruments play in many keys, and some instruments play in one or two keys. So a whistle in the key of D, if you cover all the holes, you're playing a D. That is the primary major scale for this instrument. This instrument, that's two sharps, if you care. This instrument also plays in the key of G. That's another major scale. And that's one sharp. And so the tin whistle belongs to a category of instruments that plays in each whistle plays in two primary keys, and if you care, two relative minor keys. And a minor key simply means the same notes as one of the major keys, but with a different feel to it. So a D whistle can play in both of those keys. And what that does is a D whistle enables you to play virtually all traditional music you're going to come across. Not all, but virtually all. And that's why the D should be the very first key you get in a whistle. Another recommendation from me, just to go along with that, I love getting both a low and a high D, because some people find, and I do as well, that a lot of practice and experimenting can be done on the high D without tiring as much as the low D, because this requires more of a finger stretch, and it's just nice to have both. But anyway, well, again, another conversation, but I wanted to add that as well. So the answer to today's question, what key should I get for my first whistle, is the key of D. One of the things I'm going to provide is a chart that shows you the available keys that you could purchase a tin whistle. Like the chart will say you could get a D whistle which plays in both D and G and these two relative minors. And I'm not going to add like modes and other stuff to muddy that water. I just want this to be simple. But some of you will want that resource, and so I'm going to make it available to you. In the next video in the series, we'll talk about the primary things to look for in selecting your first whistle. And if you would like access to that chart, I'm not going to ask for your email or anything. I've got a link in the notes to this video so that you can access the page from my website from which you can, for free and without any obligation ever, download that chart so that you could see that and reference it if you're kind of a musical person that cares about these things. So the answer to today's question, what's the first key I should get for my whistle? The key of D. In our next video, we're going to talk, as I said, about some of the main things to look for in selecting your first whistle, especially so that you don't have to break the bank and some of that stuff. Anyway, until next time, my friends, this is Scott Shade. Happy whistling!